Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick, honest opinion reaction to the Midnight Cinematic. I have been feeling like I need to just express myself here. I've been playing World of Warcraft since like 2004, and like it's been like 21 years now. It's been over like 20 years. So, and I'm kind of like one of those World of Warcraft players that would rather prefer playing classic over retail, but I do play a variety of games. Like I do log into the retail version of World of Warcraft. I do buy pretty much every expansion. I do take a quick look, but the game hasn't had the ability to capture me. It hasn't been able to like keep me interested in it for more than a week's time worth of content. Just because I've understood that the entire game itself has completely changed, like from what its values are to where it is right now. I understand that like I'm not the targeted audience when it comes to this sort of game. I used to be that targeted audience way back then in the early 2000s, or even just like the mid 2000s. I feel like I peaked out at Wrath of the Lich King. um, I played religiously vanilla, BC, and Wrath, and then I got up to a point where like I was playing really consistently in Cataclysm, and I was rating the first tier content. But then something just kind of hit me where I thought like the game just feels like a job. I really burnt myself out. I was not enjoying it as much. I mean, I think the starts fractured when we did the whole Dragon Soul thing with Deathwing. I thought the whole fact of using some sort of artifact that was just like spun up out of nowhere made no sense at all with the lore. So over a period of time, I still kept playing into basically Miss Veneria, WoD, and I think I ended up quitting altogether World of Warcraft during the time Legion was released. But at the time, I was going to school. So I have so many people telling me like that version of the game and that expansion was so much fun. But I did buy that expansion and I did level up to max. But then after that, I immediately like quit. Like I was just I can't do it. I had too many things IRL going on at the time. And then while that was going on, I think BFA came out, and when that came out, I don't think I really gave much attention to it. I think I was just like really turned off by borrowed powered systems. I'm not the type of player that enjoys borrowed powered systems. I've always found them just kind of irrelevant and irrational. They felt like some sort of arbitrary system that just felt like you need to endlessly grind in order to keep up, and it was just it didn't make sense to me. I just didn't enjoy it, so I stopped playing altogether. And then I figured, you know what? Hey, what the heck? Shadowlands came out, and I figured, I'd give a second opinion or second thought and be open to the story. But during the time that cinematic, I thought it was really cool. But I don't agree with some of the aspects of it. But I feel like all this stuff has been slowly building up over a period of time, and now it's getting to a point where like I have to say something because this version, this iteration of Blizzard is nowhere near to its greatness or even its golden age. I thought, yes, I bought the copium of cursed medicine coming back would improve the lore drastically. And it's kind of where my stance is that I only ever play retail for its lore. I don't play the game uh in any means for the aspect of the game itself of like high end raiding, high end arenas. I've done all that stuff, but it doesn't appeal to me. I don't gear up because I feel like the gearing system is completely irrelevant. Uh Chasing after collection items and transmog just felt irrational when you got an in-game store that invalidates your work when it comes to grinding unique mounts and just like showing off the prestigious effort of having these mounts and just being like, hey, but not to go on a tangent, I can make a whole video about that. But I just wanted to actually express my honest feelings now with the World of Warcraft scene and where it is within retail. And I felt like this would probably be a good starting point because this whole World Saga, I believe, was supposed to be like a means to like re wrap up the story of the game. And I love the story of the game, but I feel like the story has just been so all over the place over like the last like 4 or 5 expansions. Actually, probably dating back to 6. Like I have no idea where the story is going, and I felt like for once that with the World Saga that the storyline would actually make some sense because it would follow a track narrative and try to actually make sense of all. So enough of the ranting. I figure I'll get into the story and the cinematic and just kind of give an honest opinion about this. So anyway, start.
The light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through me and by its
By the way,
grace
I will be
illuminate
pausing
all
this
that is sacred.
just kind of explaining my
The light
thoughts and
guides my
opinions.
steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through me, and by its grace am I made one with all that is sacred. The light guides...
Liadrin, it has begun.
The armor is amazing. Graphics from Blizzard are amazing. Like, all this is high quality. I love it. It's great. But the only thing that's not selling me here on the beginning of this, I mean, the music is solid. The graphics is solid. Everything is slowly capturing me in. But what kind of throws me off a little bit is we've got this like Chad look to the characters. Like, I don't know if this is like a meme or if this is intended. I don't know if the artist, the person that was rendering this out and maybe drawing this out, just felt like there needs to be that sort of structure within the facial. So basically, I can't help it, but everything looks like that the Chad meme with the chin. I don't know if you're referring to like what I'm talking about or like what making sense here. It's just that like jawlines feel way too strong. I mean, I guess I can understand because I could see it here within Lorthamar. And then it just kind of seems like there's so much emphasis on the jawlines. I don't know if that's what the focus was, but for some reason my attention is going straight to the jawline. Just being like, these don't look like elves. They feel like human beings. And structure of their faces kind of like maybe that's what they're going for. I mean, the only thing I could see here that makes any sort of sense to me is maybe the ears. The ears are very well done. Hair is pretty solid. In this case, since it's kind of a close up, it's hard to tell Leandri's hair. Definitely got the eyes, lashes just being extremely huge. But regardless of that, I just kind of felt like they probably could have added Leandri's hair to be like more to the side here and kind of give more of the look where she has in game, where her character model just has hair off the side. I just don't get it why it's like completely sleek backed and it's not representing like the character in game. These are just small little things that tend to bother me because it just doesn't feel like it's an actual representation of the character, like what I know and what I'm seeing right now. Lorthamar, pretty much. I think they did Lorthamar very well. I felt like they could have done Leandria a little bit better. Anyway, yeah.
I need you with me on the wall.
Lorthamar, the void will envelop us soon. Only the light can save us now.
No. The time for prayer has passed.
Again, this is a solid shot. I love it. It pans out and shows the whole, well, like what's going on in Qual Solar with the fact that Void is invading at this moment. But the scene has already been used before. I saw this in the BFA cinematic, and it's a nice pan out shot, kind of showing what the war is and how explosion. So it's like really captured me into moment how dire this moment is. I get the characters are being calm because you want to be pretty straight, clear-minded within this sort of environment, and you want to think rationally about like what's your next move or your next action. That's cool. Anyway, you know.
The Sunwell will not fall.
Now this I like. This I like because her eyes are highlighting more. Leandri's eyes. You're getting more of a close up and intense of the emotions. So that's kind of slowly selling it on me. Again, my only criticism is I just don't like the hair, how it's portrayed in this sort of situation. It's really throwing me off. Like, but yet Lorthamar's hair makes sense to me because it's just the character. I don't know. He just seems more organically normal and makes more sense on his character model. Andrews just kind of feels a little off.
Not while I draw breath.
This is cool. The fighting choreograph. That's kind of like what's going on here. But I don't really have the. I guess I'll it's long so I can explain.
Little elves.
That right here, which I guess like back little bit. When we play this right.
Little.
What was that? Like, I'm gonna be honest, like I get you're showing the scraping, but like so apparently that void had enough like strength to like literally hit the shield where it causes sparks. Like I hated this. Because it's just like, oh, I'm gonna inflict like so this thing's strong enough to like fracture some of the shield, but wasn't like strong enough to completely throw Leandre off the side. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Because it just seems like such a weak choreograph of a fight. So like something that's like, okay, Leandre should be fighting his void creature that seems like physically stronger. So instead, she's gonna brush off an attack that just scrapes the armor. Like I'll go back and kind of show that, and I'll see if I can probably right. She's looking over at Lorthamar right here, and is now gonna make like another action. She takes her eyes off of the void land that she just attacked, and Lorthamar's kind of complete focus on that. So she's going on for the other one and decides, okay, I'm going to pivot and turn to that one. And I'm going to go back. And what is this? What are you doing here in this fight choreograph? I like, oh, let me just lay my hand on the shield, just scrape it. Like, it doesn't seem like she's dodging. It seems like she's trying to like block it. And it's like a very weak block. It's not showing the strength comparity between the two characters. And it just seems like a scrape. Like it's just like, oh yeah, I attacked you and I had a chance to maybe grab or maybe pull at you. It just doesn't hit right. It just feels like this fight choreograph is orchestrated well, but it doesn't really impact on the cut in, the attacks, the slices. Like it just doesn't hit for me. It just feels it's kind of cool, but it's pretty weak.
Elves.
Okay. Music with Zaltath coming is great. I love it. Whole build up. It's kind of going into it. See, like it's really highlighting, and I like how the tempo of the music just kind of slowly rises, and it just kind of brings in that dramatic effect of it, like actually being like really pivotal. Listen to it.
I can see you grow weary.
And again, what is with the jawline here? Like, it's like 3 characters that we're focusing on, and it seems like the main thing about every character is showing the structure of the jaw and putting a lot of emphasis on it. I mean, I guess maybe that's the one characteristic trait that is pretty pivotal among all the elves, and I guess that's maybe what they're highlighting at. Again, but I just don't like it. It just feels so off. It feels very weird compared to like the in-game models with like the blood elves and the elves, because their character models, from when I look at them, I've seen them, have never been really that heavily focused on the jawline. So this is just like really throwing me off. Of like, are these elves or are these humans? Like, what's going on here?
How much longer can you hold out? Flee and save.
That expression from Zalatath and the buildup of it and what she said, I love that. That was great. So okay, we're building up the scenery and the dramaticness of everything that's going on in this area.
You hold out. Flee and save.
Even just the one little facial expression, and even Leandre's facial expression here is great. It's all you can see the wariness and thing, and how she's super concerned. I give that a plus. I like that part. Like I like the build up. I like the little background music, just slowly building up. Really getting your like blood pumping and just trying to get you rushed.
Save yourselves.
Leandrin, don't.
Light be with you.
This bothered me. Like this whole transition of Leandre being like, "Oh, I'm afraid, so I'm gonna go leave. I'm gonna bounce." And Lorthamar's like, "Yo, hold up. Like, I know what you're gonna do. Like, I'm also your commander, but I'm also being like trying to make a moment or point, or Lorthamar's just trying to interject himself right here because he knows what she's gonna go do." And why is that? Like, why is Lorthamar being like, "Oh, is it because we need to fight now and we should be fighting, or is it okay that Leandre just can casually like disobey the commander in chief or like really weigh in? Maybe she knows the character a little bit more. I've been a little behind on some of the lore and what's been going on recently. I'll be honest about that, but from not being fully caught up with some of the lore lately, it's been kind of like, so I'm trying to get back into it and trying to like make sense. I'm one of those players that comes and goes. So like every single time I come back to and try to slowly catch up on lore, I understand that there's so much missing, but I feel like Blizzard could do a better job of explaining and symbolizing the entire lore of everything that's going on. But anyway, this bothered me because during a pivotal point in the moment of the war that's going on, she's just gonna dip out, and I'll explain another reason why I don't like this.
You see? She understands it's hopeless.
Okay, Zalteth capitalizes on that because she left. Like, what are you doing? Giving you that false sense of like, I'm in control here and what's going on. And Lord Thamar's just like, just kind of gives a sigh and just kind of like, can't stop her. So that's okay. That's kind of like build up. I know I'm like contradicting myself here about like what I just said about her leaving and how this creates the representation of it. But I just would figure that Leandre would think critically the situation and be like, hey, I'm gonna go pray for help because that's what she's gonna do in the next scene here. But also another thing too is why didn't Zaltas? She has 4 Voiline monsters. She doesn't need all of them, and she doesn't sick them on Leandre. Chase after her. Like I understand maybe 2 seconds from now. It's like it highlights on
You
her.
all will.
And then what the hell is this transition? Like transition from her leaving the battlefield and all of a sudden just like miraculously being in the Sunwell. Where were you? Like you should have had this was a golden scene to build up the hype about how serious and how dire this was. And what do I mean by this? She had the opportunity within a split second of a transaction from the screen. So like half of a second to run from the top of the wall down to the Sunwell. And if you've ever been in a raid and you've ever played during Burning Crusade, Sunwell is kind of a distance from basically where you go from the like front entrance of Quell Solar and then going all the way down there. So like she just casually had all this time. Like what the hell? Zaltas could have sick Voilins on her and chasing after her as she's running. And I thought this would have been like an amazing time to have her be fighting off these Voilins while trying to get to the Sunwell. So okay, and Zaltas is just like brushing her off like, oh yeah, go do whatever you need to do. And it just doesn't show or represent like how bad, like how much time was it, did it take her 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to like get back to the Sunwell and go pray like through the well itself? I don't know. It's just like there was a missed opportunity here to really highlight and Leandre and create this situation to be even more intense. Like you could have had the Voiline monsters chase after her, but instead she's just casually allowed to run away and go pray. I felt like there was a bad timing to capitalize on. Could have done more, Blizzard here. You could have done just a little bit more. You didn't need any dialogue. You didn't need any like physical like story dialogue. Just could have been some grunts, some little sounds of Leandre. Like if you could hear that in the voice, her running away and trying to get to the well itself, then it would build up the hype and the suspense. But then again, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go fuck off and go run to the well. Cool, whatever. But that was weak.
The light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through me, and by its grace am I made one with all that is sacred. The light.
Okay, this is good. You could see the emotion and the feelings are all rushing, like building up and building up the suspense. But I felt like going back to what I just said, you could have added the suspense a little bit more with like the Voiline monster and just like the Void just like chasing after her while she's trying to get to this, and she could have been like, I would have taken like a scrape or like a bruise or something, you know, it's like really showing how much the character sacrificed to like really get to this wellness moment. Like she could have been injured, like not drastically injured, but she could have been injured enough to the point where like this build up to Sunwell and her needing to pray and like really ask for help could have been more impactful.
Light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through.
Okay, she realizes she's desperate right now. That's cool. Like that's really building up my emotions to be like, okay, so she's concerned. But then again, in the back of my mind, it's like, the hell, like you just pieced out on the battlefield and now you're panicking because what you decided to do is not really working at the moment. But then again, going back to the other situation where it's like allowing her to freely transition from the battlefield to the well, it just didn't hit right in this moment. So it's like it's not really showing me how intense. So like I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, this fight isn't that serious. Like she was allowed to get away, and Lothar Mars is doing all the fighting, and Zalatas, for some odd reason, she's doing the evil villainy thing. Where don't worry, it'll take me like 20 years to go get to that spot because I'm taking my time to be a menacing presence. Okay,
I know that I am unworthy. I don't.
again, here's the bodies on the floor of dead blood outs. There's a body here, and then they're kind of like struggling, like, oof. Oh, these Royalians got huge claws. Why isn't there like any sort of like what the hell happened to you, Blizzard? With like pulling your punches when it comes to like the intensity of a moment for the interactions. Maybe because the game is now so PG that like you're not willing to show these claws ripping into like some sort of blood elf's armor and really showing how dire the situation is, because it's like at the moment it's like, oh yeah, I'm just passed out on the ground and you have this other blood here just like helping. It's posing. It's so much fucking posing that it just like bothers me that like this whole buildup of how intense the situation is just one big giant pose. It's just like I get it, you're fighting and you're struggling and whatnot, but like where? So apparently these things, these Voilens had the ability to scrape the armor and pierce it, yet everybody's armor is like pristine clean here. What the hell? This is a war. This is a situation where like shit's going down and people are dying and characters are dying. But instead we're just gonna be like, ugh, hate this because there's no blood, there's no damaged armor, there's no none of this. None of this stuff like showing me or representing like how dire. It's like it's guys are so afraid to pull your punches is making something really dramatic. I mean, I haven't seen anything dramatic since Warlords of Draenor, where Grimosh like sit there and throw Gorehout into Manwrath's head and he had blood gushing out of it. But instead, over the years, now you guys have become like this like really lackluster company that just doesn't have the balls to like show the shit that actually fucking matters to build up that suspense to like really captivate me. It's not working.
I don't know if I deserve your help, but I know my people do.
Again, we're in pose mode. Don't worry, I'm looking back while I'm like trying to like look at my fellow blood elf. But instead, it's like, is this really battle worn? Or is this really going on? I mean, getting a nice stare down. Cool. But like again, you're also seeing them cut up in the arm. This guy back here in the background, but like it feels like they're just posing for dramatic effect. But we're not showing why it's dramatic. It's not like really selling it to me on like why this situation is so dramatic. Again, maybe this would work for so many people, but like I'm just so hypercritical at this point that it's not selling to be like this amazing thing that's like, oh, like I'm not feeling afraid for the characters. Like I'm really not, because we have this like plot armor shit that always happens where like in World of Warcraft's history, killing a character is very, very rare, or even just like severely wounded them to the point where like you don't know if they're alive or dead. I mean, the only storyline has not been able to do that. It's been pulling its punches for like the last five, I don't know, last like four expansions, maybe or so. Why are we so afraid to like show the maturity of war in this situation? If I'm making any sense here.
Please give them strength.
I admire your spirit, but that will.
Oh, that's okay, cool. Daltas is just like sitting here back here, just watching. Yeah, like what? Like I get you're looking cool. I mean, the shot is she looks gorgeous in the shot. The way her hair comes down and how it just like flows and the eyes are like really highlighted, and not to mention like you can see it in the headpiece too. Like this is in the necklace. It really highlights her characteristics, like with her markings, her eyes, and everything coming out, and the ears with the earrings. I like this shot, but it's adding for dramatic effect. But Lorthamar just kind of like this was a really good shot. I'll be honest about that. It was a really good shot of Zalatath, but this is what kind of bugs me a little bit.
I admire your.
He just turns his back on Zalatath, like, oh yeah, it's just not a big deal. Isn't she supposed to be like a serious threat that you should be keeping a side eye on her? Being like, hey, whatever, but I'm just gonna pose again. Why are we posing? This is what I feel like most of cinematic is just posing.
Spirit, but that will not save you. Soon, I will break your world.
You can't even break one out.
Okay, a lot of people thought the scene, this area, Lorthamar spinning off the side, was really badass. I guess it's a derogatory thing to be like, okay, I'm gonna spit off the side and like show that like you are something not to be like I don't care about you. Like I'm like really downplaying you, being like not a threat, and just like by spitting. I don't know. I didn't think that Lorthamar should have just spit. I think the timing of the spit was really badly done. I felt like that could have been more impactful if he had said this line prior before to and spit in to like really emphasis on how much like I don't give a shit about you, Zalatath. Like I do really do give a shit about you, but like in the sense where it's impactful. Like I felt like this line could have been more impactful if the spit was done after, not before, because I think it was just bad timing, and it just doesn't hit. It just doesn't feel right. So it's like we're forcing this out, and we're over rushing it when we don't really need to like really rush it. We could just let the story build up in that little second to show how impactful Lorthamar is. Just like you don't even break one. Fuck you. That's basically a giant fuck you. But instead, we're gonna be like, "Fuck you! You can't break one off," or something like that. I don't know. You could have put more bigger of an emphasis on that one little action. Yes, it here, but it could have been even a little bit more impactful if you had done it as a second means.
Oof.
Okay, Zalatath is annoyed, and she's like, "Oh yeah, let me mind fuck them," and basically like, really showcase like why this like actually it's an impactful moment and it's really cool. This hit very well because now it's like, oh, wow, she's got this stuff. She can really do that. They should have shown what Lorthamar was seeing in his mind, or done some sort of means to capture what is Zalatath doing on the mind that is so like you could have done some sort of horror thing here. This was a golden opportunity thing to showcase and build on like Zaltas as a villain here. But instead, we just see Lorthamar just having a migraine.
This darkness comes to devour everything. And when it is finished, there will be...
And again, putting choreograph. Knocked over, just like, okay, cool. Just going down.
when it is finished.
I felt like you could have put some emphasis on the armor hidden. Like, I know the sounds built up for the music, but just like imagine if you just heard that crunch of the armor, just like this boy and just like pounding down on his elf, and it's just like that could have hit pretty hard, but it didn't. The storyline of the music was the build up in the situation. Even though I understand it probably would have broke the music by hearing a plate of armor hitting the ground and just basically being smashed, but it just would have been more impactful in my opinion.
There will be no more light. Without your aid, we will perish.
There's no blood. There's no nothing. Blood elves that are on the ground. Like, where they're on the ground just like passed out as if they just had a party. Just like trashed after a rave. But and we have it's more posing of this shot. It's supposed to be like really dramatic. But like I said, all these little minor details irritate me. And could have been more.
I beg you, help us.
That was a cool. You could see the more build up in her just like requesting much of the Sunwell. But the only thing here is the what you call it, hand showing on the shoulder. I think you should have paneled to whatever character that was, or like showed a little bit more detail rather than just the hand. Because it's like, okay, new ally has entered the field. Don't worry. Let's go back one. This is a good shot, but it's just Leandre and a bunch of randoms. Like, it would have been so cool seeing Leandre with Terrellian. Like, I thought in this moment Terrellian was going to show up. Like, I really thought that would be like a really good shot. Like, you didn't even need to show Tyrandre. You just need to show some sort of background silhouette, like a shadow of a character. But they didn't do that. Like, there was a golden opportune time to be like another new character has arisen or another show. Or actually I would have liked Lorthamar's son. I forget his name, the Blood Elf Paladin. If you had him shown up right here with Leandre, I thought that would have been dope. Pretty dope. I would have thought that would have been like, oh my god. Just the introduction of this character has played a pivotal role on Warcraft's history. It's just been like really showcasing that the storyline is wrapped up. But I don't get why we put so much emphasis on Leandre. She's like, okay, we're gonna focus around Leandre, Lorthamar, Zelta. These three characters. And even though it would have been a nice little subtle thing to have maybe Terrellian's son show up in the situation, I don't feel like it would have taken away from Leandre. I think that she got help and her prayers were reached. And here's a character we know that exists within the Light of the Army that have been fighting off the Legion. But as the closer I look at this armor, right, this looks like the Arathi. And this is kind of going back to where Terrellian or Terrellian's son would show up. I would have taken that, or I would have like taken a new character from the Arathi, like I these armor just look generic. So it's like generic here, and it's under a bunch of randoms. You could have shown, you could have debuted it like a new Arathi character that would play the storyline, or like some sort of commander. So like it would show, oh, there's Leandre and this person. That it's Leandre random. It doesn't hit for me. Oh, I broke your spell. I think I think if we had that scene kind of showcasing how his mind is being fractured, this would have been hit a little bit more. Like I think this would have really actually like hit a little bit more in this sort of situation, because it's like, what did you fight off? I don't know what you fought off. Just Zaltas all of a sudden has control over my mind, and that's it. Like you're not telling me what was the struggle was from breaking free of Zaltas, like little mind games here. Don't know. It just didn't hit with me. I mean, that's cool. Finally got to see some of the paladin's abilities, judgment, just like using the fire and just like destroying it. But the rest are all just like, yep, you're gonna take your time to get there. It's good, but I don't know. I'm really critical of the cinematic.
The Sunwell will not fall!
Not while we draw breath.
Oh, my stomach. Like, I can't do this. This is. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, I've clearly seen this so much with the Avengers and with, like, Dragonflight. And every single time I see these, like, buildups of, like, here and we're strong, it's just. Oh my god. It just stings with how it's more posturing. Just too much posturing. Just we don't need this much posturing in a cinematic of you're the good guys and you're gonna kick your ass. Just fucking do it. This is too much posturing, and it just feels so cringy. I gotta be honest. This whole thing was so cringy to me because it's just like you were starting off strong, you were fighting, and then you went into some high intense verbal dialogue. It's like not really needed in this moment. It would have been badass if they just like immediately just been like got into the fight immediately rather than to this stupid fucking line. It just doesn't showcase to me. It's more posturing. I hate the shit. Amazing shot of Zalta. I know that she's literally an elf corpse. This is not really showing. I mean, I does better like on the jawline now. Now I'm not seeing that as Zalta anymore. Now her face like looks pretty normal to me and is actually making sense. And it's not really bothering me. I don't know, maybe that could have been the shading or the color of it all, but that's what it was. Anyway, that's a good looking corpse. And this is where it failed. That did not hit. Like, we did not build up the suspense from the start of the cinematic till now, where this logo would hit really hard and oh my god, this was amazing. I felt like it fell flat. What even made it even worse was that like I was watching the Gamescom view when this thing was released. It just was like there was no raw crowd. There was kind of like, okay, all right. I mean, Blizzard. All right is not good. All right is like shit. Like meh is like meh. Dude, the bar is so fucking low. Like it just should hit. Like this is your second. This is the middle end of the Warsaw Saga. Like, this should be hitting a little bit harder. Now, the reason I have a problem with this is that maybe if you're like really inclined into the game and you know all the lore that's kind of going on in it, because I was watching Novel's reaction to this, and he enjoyed it. He liked it because he kind of knows what's actually going on in the lore and more suspense. Kind of like, but he's like really deep dive into it. But for me, that I come in every now and then checking out the lore is just too overly complex. Like the little things you're trying to subtly like hint at about the storyline, you also really need to dumb it down. Like you need to kind of simplify it with like tone from point A to B storyline, or like actually having an impact. But then again, that's his opinion. That's what I thought, and that's what a lot of other people's opinions are about the cinematic. And it's kind of like more like good, but not amazing. But I felt like this could have been more. This could have been impacted more. But for players that are actively playing retail, yeah, they probably like this. But for me, I'm playing classic and some other version of the game. It just doesn't feel like World of Warcraft to me. Where is the direction of this game going? But I don't know. It's just I don't feel like it's. I don't know. Maybe I'm a different generation. This is what the newer generation really likes, but it's not really telling a really good story or a quick cinematic to get you hype about this expansion where the story is. The story is in a pivotal point, and that suspense should be like really building up. It just didn't hit. Anyway, we're at the end of this. We're at midnight. Anyway, just want to give my opinions and thoughts. I don't know how long this video was. I think I ranted for like 40 minutes straight trying to explain like why this did not hit to me, why the suspense of the video was like not enough, why I'm actually legitimately concerned for Blizzard as a whole, because as a product this did not sell for Microsoft. Like it did sell, but it's not like breaking like, oh my god, this is amazing. I could see in the future that Microsoft will probably cut back a little bit more on Blizzard's resources for funding. And that leaves me concerned because I really want Classic Plus. I really am more of a Classic Indie, and I'd hope that the funding and the determination of this does not. But like, then again, like budgets are done like a year in advance, basically about like where they're going to spend and where they're going to allocate something. Kind of tells me for the year that it seems like Microsoft's really cut back, and you can see it in Gamescom, you can see it with everything else. So, like I definitely could kind of see it about how it's impacting the performance of these videos and these games. And I just hope that Midnight does well. I hope that we do get a Classic Plus when BlizzCon comes around, and that this is just things that I'm seeing with the company, and this is just like what I'm seeing with the cinematic. And anyway, enough of the ranting. Just want to conclude my thoughts on this video. And then again, if you want to hear more of this like dialogue and more like feedback and kind of like breakdown of stuff, I think this is the type of content I'm going to do. Just kind of try to give more of an in-depth explanation. If this seems like it's really confusing for you, let me know. Just trying to really get an idea or hang of like how other people in the community are feeling. But this is just how I'm feeling about the game. Anyway,